But on the 7th of October, there was no quiet. It was unbelievable. We couldn't believe what was happening. My grandfather's phone was showing one WhatsApp V and not two, which means the messages were getting sent, but they weren't being delivered.
In Israel, it's mandatory to be doing the army.
Many of us had served on the southern border before. Shalom, India.
Hi guys, thank you for joining me. With me today is a soldier in the reserves. He was in the paratroopers, is still in the paratroopers.
Yes.
And he's going to be talking with us today about his time in the war, the current war, and about his family. So tell me a bit about what brought you to Israel. You didn't grow up in Israel, correct?
No, I was born in San Diego, California. Both of my parents are Israeli. And in the Israeli community, all the adults always talk about how the army service is such a meaningful part of their lives and how it changed them for the better and how they made friends for life. And so I wanted to undergo this path of army and difficulty to really build myself up and learn the values that my parents had when they came here.
Maybe not all of our viewers know that in Israel, it's mandatory to be doing the army. So when I was growing up in Israel, I had to go to the army when I was 18. You didn't grow up in Israel, and yet you chose to come to Israel at the age of 18.
Yeah.
And join the army.
Mhm.
And you were in the paratroopers, which is an elite force, and you were there for how long?
Close to 3 years.
So you finished your service. When was this?
I finished my service in 2018.
All right. So you finished your service, and then when this war broke out, we're talking about the current war since 7th of October, you found yourself going back to the army.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So reserves duty is something that you do maybe once a year between 1 week and, in my case, combat soldier, it can be up to 3 weeks. And it's usually very relaxing. We usually get put on the quietest borders or the quietest bases because, reserve duty can be anywhere from my age, 24, 25. I'm now 27, but anywhere from someone who just got released at 21 to guys who are 45, 46 with 3 kids at home. It's all a mix. So they put us on usually the quiet stuff. But on the 7th of October, there was no quiet. We wake up in the morning. The WhatsApp group starts running. What are we doing? Where are we going to go? Before the army even tells us that we have to go, all of us get up from our homes. We go to our base. We grab all our gear. And by the time we were already towards the north, we get the official phone call that we were drafted and we have to come back. And we were already halfway there.
So this is amazing. You're telling me that on 7th of October, you woke up. You didn't get any call to do it. You decided yourself that I'm going to pack my stuff. I'm going to go up to the north and I'm going to meet my friends, the people who are with me in the army, and we're going to be there because they're going to call us and we're going to be ready.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then that call came, and what did you find out? What was happening?
So the army, as strong as it is, it's a very big machine and it takes a lot of time for things to go and do and everything to happen. But what's amazing is that we're all so proud and so strong that the commanders start doing stuff before their other commanders tell them. So every commander decides, okay, we need to start talking. We're all friends. And so by the time the big army decides that we need to be on the northern border because my unit is in charge of the northern border, we were already there. We were already ready. We had all our equipment with us. It was unbelievable. We couldn't believe what was happening. Many of us had served on the southern border before. We were in shock, and we knew that whatever was happening there, we had to make sure it wouldn't happen in the northern border. We didn't know what was going to happen. If Hezbollah was going to make a move, take this opportunity to do something. We knew that we had to be there to stop a second October 7th from happening mere hours after the first one had happened.
And that's not the end of your story, because actually when you were at the north of Israel and you were in the reserves for over 200 days, that's not the end of the story, because something simultaneously was happening at the south end of Israel to your family members.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
So my grandfather in the late 50s founded Kibbutz Nir Oz. It's one of the many kibbutzim that are 2 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers from the Gaza border. On the day of October 7th, when all the rocket attacks happened, it's not something new for us. We Israelis know this happens more or less sometimes. WhatsApp to our family, to my grandparents. Hey, are you in your safe room? Yes, everything is good. After a few hours, it usually calms down. What happened differently was at around 9:30 in the morning, my grandfather's phone was showing 1 WhatsApp V and not 2, which means the messages were getting sent, but they weren't being delivered. And then all the rumors come out of bodies being found in the kibbutzim, of people missing, of videos come out of people being dragged on motorcycles and jeeps from Israel into Gaza, Israeli civilians. And the question becomes, where is grandpa, where's grandma? Nobody knows. We try and talk to their neighbors who survived. They see them, they not see them. And it's up in the air. And it took about a week or more before the army officially came out and said, yes, they've been kidnapped and they are there in Gaza. We haven't found their body in the kibbutz, which means they're probably in the tunnels, kilometer under the earth, somewhere in the Gaza border.
So you're in the north, fighting up north, and your grandparents are missing in the South and you're detached from that. How do you feel? What keeps you going?
For me, what keeps me going is I have to do some sort of mental cut. I realize that I have my own mission that I need to give my full attention to in the north. Being on the outskirts of the war is the hardest. Me and my friends turn our phones off because we cut out all the distractions and focus on the one or two things at hand. And that's what really kept me going. And my guys who are with me, that we're really a band of brothers, that we helped each other, and we all know what it's like, and we know how to hold each other and be there for each other and to cry on each other's shoulders and to lift each other up. And that's what really kept me going.
This brotherly bond that happens between the soldiers. You're there all day, all night for months on end. These are people that you know for years. These are bonds that sound like they're for a lifetime. Tell me how you feel about the connection that you formed with your friends there.
So what's interesting about the reserve duty is these are guys you see maybe once a year for a week, 2 weeks, three tops. And then you don't see them again for another year. Sometimes you live close to them, sometimes you talk. Most of these guys are not men who are with me in my service, in my 3 year compulsory service. These are people I met after, only in reserve duty. And they were all nice, and it was good, but the war really brought us together. All of a sudden, we are together. We say butt to butt, sleeping, cuddled next to each other in the cold winters, and awake at night on long patrol walks, and it's just us and nobody else, and we're in the middle of the forest with no phones, just 17 or 15 guys talking to each other every single day. I felt like we were all cut from the same cloth. We all have the same core values. We all chose to be combat soldiers. We all chose to become the paratroopers. And when October 7th came, we all chose to get up, leave our lives behind, families behind, children behind, to come and fight for one goal. And it's this bond that we make, and that's brotherly love that starts in the unit and it grows bigger and bigger into this love of your whole country and all our fellow citizens that makes us keep getting up every single time they call us, no matter what we're going through, to be there.
And that you're there for each other. And speaking of there for each other, I want you to speak to us a bit about your grandma and your grandfather, who's still in captivity.
Yeah.
And you were there for each other with your brothers, but you were not able to be there for your grandparents. How does that leave you?
It's difficult. It's difficult that I wasn't able to be there with my family. Every moment that I had that I got to go home every few weeks for a few days on the weekends, you would see me with my dad at all the protests in Tel Aviv, and I met so many families of other hostages and heard their stories. As sad as it is that these are the reasons that I met them, when my grandmother came back after 17 days and I got to see her and talk to her and see she was okay, and she told us that her grandfather was okay. It's amazing how something so sad can be so positive at the end and bring us all together.
How is your grandma?
My grandma's okay. She's doing fine. She was one of the lucky ones. She was released early. She was fine. She wasn't injured, and she's doing good now.
And what's the current situation with your grandfather?
Almost a year ago, the army has officially declared that he is deceased. And as for his body, there's no news about that. If it will come back, when it will come back, it's up in the air. Yes.
Mr. Amiram Cooper, can you tell us about him, please?
There's a famous saying in Hebrew, and I'm sure it's also in English, salt of the earth. And there's no better person that meets this phrase than my grandfather. My grandfather left Haifa when he was a young boy to go to the southern desert in Israel that was completely undeveloped. Because my grandfather is a poet. He's a poet and a songwriter, but he went to study accounting because that's what the kibbutz needed. And he believed that with his whole heart. He chose to live where he lived in the southern desert, no matter how close it was to Gaza or the dangers or anything, because that's what he believed in. He believed in developing the country and developing the desert.
Just a few last questions. I wanted to know if you have any message for Indian audience sitting out there. Any message you want to convey to them?
Biggest message is to do the research, to learn, to talk to people, and to all the Indians who are supporting Israel. It's amazing. This is my first time in India. I have no words to explain the appreciation I have for them, and to see how their love for Israel is so strong. And these are people who have no relation to us besides that they're friends, and their love is so pure. And even if it's in the elevator when some guy asks me where I'm from, and I say, oh, I'm from Israel. He says, oh, Israel and India are brothers. He has no idea who I am. He can say whatever he wants. This is what he chooses to say. And it's so warm, and to feel that India is a true friend, and to see these people talk and to really see the deepness of their love for this my country, that they don't live there, they don't have citizens, they're just friends, and to see this true bond of brotherhood, almost like my fellow army people, it's amazing.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.